the darkness, I'm behind the lights. Transparent lights, as you see, that I become too fade.
Hey, this is Walt from StogieReview.com here with Abe from Pdr Cigars. So, Abe, thanks for sitting down with me at Kensington Tobacconist. And why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, your family history, and your cigars?
Hi there, Walt. I'm Abe Flores from Pdr Cigars. Pdr was developed about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, between myself and my partner Juan Rodriguez in the Dominican Republic in our factory in Tamarillo. The cigar is made from two different mixtures, Nicaraguan and Dominican tobaccos. The wrapper is a Habano wrapper grown in Dominican Republic. The binder is Habano wrapper grown in Dominican Republic. The filler is a mix of Nicaraguan filler from Nicaragua and Dominican Corojo grown in Dominican Republic. My family and Juan's family been in the Dominican Republic growing tobacco for probably 80 years. Juan Rodriguez was a grower for Davidoff for about, I believe, 15-20 years. And then he started his factory. I joined with him about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Before that, my family is in the Dominican Republic. We are in this region called Bonao, where we grew sugarcane, plantains, tobacco, coffee up in the valleys that we own in the land. And my grandfather was a grower until he just died last year, all his life. Family members working for Leon Jimenez. We grow tobacco for different manufacturers, and that's how I learned from my grandfather the different components. The most important thing is the tobacco itself, the leaf. That's the spice that you put together, and the components that you put together before you even start thinking about a cigar. Where it's grown, the pH balance, the soil, all those things are very important for you to make a good cigar. The way it's been processed, in the age of the tobacco, and all those things give the characteristics of Pinar del Rio. Most of the tobacco in Pinar del Rio is about 4 years old or more, and I have a very strict contingency in the sense that we do not put anything that's not well aged in the Pinar del Rio tobacco and the Pinar del Rio cigar itself. We have about 150 retailers right now selling our cigar nationwide, and pretty much it's a well-balanced cigar. It's medium to full. The Scuro gives you a lot of sweetness in the mouth, in the gums, and the Habano Sungrown gives you the strength up in the nose palate. Up there it hits you very hard up in the nose. It has more of a characteristic of a Cuban Boulevard, you could say. A little bit of a leathery taste to it, and the difference in it's more of a full flavor aspect of the cigar itself. So hopefully you come down one day and buy a Pinar del Rio, and if you need anything else, or if you want to find out more about my cigars, come to PdrCigars.com. Thank you. I don't know what else to say.
Now, in addition to the Pinar del Rio, what else are you making? Or are you producing cigars for anyone else?
Yes, we are. I produce, there's two other individuals that are in the market right now. One is Flor de Cesar. We have the Flor de Cesar Red and the Flor de Cesar Black, and that's being made for Brian DeCesar. The Flor de Cesar Red is a Lancaster, Pennsylvania wrapper cigar. It's a medium, a little spice to it cigar. Has a Habano binder, and the rest of the filler is Dominican. Is very is meant for it's meant. I blend this cigar for a person who likes to drink red wine. Brian himself, he likes to drink wine, and he wanted me to make a cigar for him that can have that aspect, that characteristic of a red wine. Same thing with the black, has the complete aspect of a white wine. More of a drier taste, has more seco to it, and is a Brazilian Pdr wrapper in it, on it. The other line that we make is the double sweet for Luis Molina, and that's a straight, mild cigar. Comes in a cabinet style box. Has a lot of flavor. Is mild. Good cigar to have in the morning. But if you blow it out in the nose, it gives you a lot of that olor dominicano component that a lot of the Dominican cigars have.
Now, you mentioned the Lancaster grown wrapper. That's not something that's very common, or at least something I've ever heard of. Can you elaborate more on that tobacco? Is it a Lancaster seed, or is it a seed from somewhere else, just simply grown in Lancaster?
It's a seed that's actually from. It's a Cuban seed grown up here in Lancaster. It's not a native to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Grown up in Lancaster, processed up here by this Initab. It's a company that does tobacco. They have several farms throughout the world, actually, in Honduras, Nicaragua, here in Lancaster. I think they have some in Mexico, and they're probably one of the largest tobacco distributors throughout the whole world. They sell a lot to. They do a lot of cigarette tobacco also, but it's something that they developed themselves. Grabbing the Cuban seed. I don't know where they got it. I think they got it from Cuba. Personally, that's what the guy told me. And they grew it here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, processed it, smoothed it out, where the leaf itself, I mean, it's amazing when you look at it. They can actually pull a reddish kind of tinge, a reddish corojo type of look to it, and then they can actually go to the extreme of getting a dark Lancaster where you think you're smoking a Brazilian Piraco or a really dark Maduro wrapper. You would not even know if I gave you a Flor de Cesar red, you would not even think that it's actually a Lancaster, Pennsylvania wrapper on it. You probably think it's actually a Dominican broadleaf or a Corojo wrapper.
No, when you say processed, they're not processing it with chemicals or anything like that, right? It's just
no. It's just the way they processing is just the fermentation process. Also, the smoothing out of the leaf itself when they stretch it out, when they wet it, and when they put it in the flattening beds to just get all the veins to be more smooth out. Yeah.
So how do you come across a tobacco like this? I mean, it's the first time I've ever heard of Pennsylvania tobacco being used as a wrapper. So do you just have samples come in and you're just selecting through tobacco? Or?
I'm always looking for new leaves, new tobacco, new wrappers every day. So a lot of the tobacco distributors that we buy from are always trying to introduce me new things or new breeds, new hybrids that they're coming out with all the time, like Cubano 2020 or hybrids between Indonesia and Criollo 98. People always, because there's only a certain amount of tobacco in the world, they're always trying to come out with different hybrids and different forms of the tobacco. So I deal with Initab a lot because I do buy other leaves from them, and they introduced this to me one day, and they the way they did it was they sent me some samples in a bale, in a bag, and they say, hey, try this out, and they sent me the more of the reddish one that was a Corojo, and then they sent me a darker wrapper thinking it was Maduro, and they wouldn't tell me where it was from. They say, try this out. I'm going, well, where's it from? Well, don't worry about it. Try it out. So I started rolling. I did some simple blends with it. I did some straight puros with it, and I was amazed. And then when I called Initab when I called my supplier and I said, "Where's this tobacco from?" They said it was from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I said, "Well, I gotta have it," and I used it. So very amazed, and very amazed about the flavors that you're getting from it, especially for a leaf that's a wrapper that's grown in the United States.
No, lately I've been hearing a lot about Pdr Cigars and, of course, Devil's Weed ever since the trade show. You've got a fairly small facility in the Dominican Republic. How many cigars are you producing throughout the year?
We're probably producing along the lines of, we do about 4,000 sticks a day, 3 to 4,000 sticks a day. We're doing cigars a day. That's our capacity right now. We're pretty small. We have about 20 to 25 rollers at a given time. We're growing. We're a boutique shop, and we pride ourselves in keeping it small. If you keep it small, you can have a higher quality control. If you start expanding and having too much of a bigger staff, then it's hard to control the quality and the consistency of the cigar. And that's pretty much the way we see ourselves. Maybe we'll grow 15% or 10% every year, but it's not our goal to be a large facility with 200 employees. Our goal is to maybe max have 40 employees, and we don't see that happening until 4 years down the road.
Now, you said that you did fairly well at the trade show in Vegas. Where do you think you're saturated in the market now? In what state throughout the country would it be easiest to find your cigars?
Pretty much, I think you probably will find more of our cigars in Pennsylvania than any other state. Second to that is New Jersey, and then North Carolina. Those are the 3 big states that have our cigars the most. But we have several accounts in California, several accounts in Texas, several accounts in Ohio, several accounts throughout the United States. But you'll find more accounts or more retailers wear a cigar here in Pennsylvania.
All right, and then you mentioned quality being your priority.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think takes precedence? A high quality cigar or one that's loaded with flavor that that may have a couple of flaws? What's more important to you? A very flavorful, complex cigar or a beautifully constructed cigar?
Both, to be honest with you. You can't have one without the other. The thing that makes a great cigar is construction in one end. I mean, you can have a smoke you can be smoking a cigar that has a lot of flavor and has a lot of aroma, but if it's burning weird, or if it's going one side, or the cap is all screwed up, then it's gonna ruin your experience. So if you are proud of what you produce and you're proud about the brand and you want people to respect you in this industry, you got to make sure that the construction, the look, the taste, the feel, the aroma, the complete package of the cigar is there. It goes hands in hand. It's like a weight. It's a balance. That makes a fully balanced cigar to me. It makes it's uncomparable. You cannot have one without the other, in my mind.
All right, so you make a few cigars. Of the ones you make, which one is your favorite? Which one would you say you smoke the most of?
I smoke the most every day. I smoke the Pdr Oscuro. That's this cigar right here. That's the one. And actually, the Torpedo, I smoke probably 80% of the time. The guy who rolls my Torpedo, I think he's been rolling since he was 10 years old. So he's 30 somewhat years old now. He's been doing it for a very long time. He's just a master. And to be honest with you, I only have one pair rolling torpedoes, and that's him. And then you got the guy who does the bonche, the guy who puts it on the molds. So they've been working together for 4 years together. And I love the way this torpedo is constructed, the draw of it. You can actually just cut the very tip of the cigar, and it will still draw perfectly. He's just, you can't teach that. It has to be something that's within somebody. It's a lot of people, a lot of rollers on there act like machines, and they just put it together, put the wrapper on the cigar, and they're just trying to process 300 sticks, 400 sticks, 300 to 400 cigars a day. This guy, actually, I have him not. I cap him at 300, 350 a day because I want him to actually think about what he's doing and make sure that every torpedo that he produces is up to the standards that Pdr Rio wants and my company wants.
So if you had, not to say an inexperienced smoker, but someone that was fairly new to cigars, maybe only into the hobby for a couple of months, what would you tell them? What can they expect from that cigar each and every time they light up your Oscuro?
Well, every time they light this Oscuro, they'll find it that it's a very flavorful cigar that will give them a lot of, it's like eating like a chocolate bar. So it's like a Hershey chocolate. Every time you eat that Hershey chocolate, it's the same. Hits you in the gums, hits you in your tongue. Every time you pull it, you can put your tongue around your teeth. You can taste it. And then also gives you that tinge up in the nose when you blow it out of your smoke. Blow the smoke out of your nose. You always will have that with my Pdr Rio Oscuro. You always will have that flavor. You always will have that intensity. You always will have that experience. It's always going to take you to somewhere. You start off and you can feel the flavor, and then you can halfway through it will get more intense, and then it will come down, and then right at the end of that knob, that's when you get that flavor punch right there, and it's. And you saw me smoke it earlier. I smoked it all the way until my finger was burning, and that's because that's my favorite part. Actually, the last third of the cigar, because that's where I get the most intense amount of flavor of the cigar.
Well, being a manufacturer, I'm sure that there's certain things that get circulated that kind of irk you a little bit. These misconceptions. For example, one of the misconceptions that irks me the most is when you hear people say, "Well, it's a dark cigar. It absolutely has to be strong, simply because it's dark." Or another case would be, it's only a good cigar if it's expensive. Are there any things that you hear as a manufacturer? I'm sure that you hear a lot of things. Is there one thing that bothers you the most? And if you had the opportunity to correct it right here and set things straight, what would it be?
Well, I don't want to get in trouble with a lot of my friends in the industry, so I'll keep it simple. I'll keep it. The only thing that what I try to do I'm just going to say for myself. I retail my cigars between $5.40 to $7. It's a well-constructed. If you see the box, is all cedar box. It's gold pana on it. Has the velvet inside. You see this box, you think, well, the cigar in this should be retailing at least $10, $12. Just the way it's constructed. The band itself is gold. The gold on it is gold powder. They don't do that here in the United States. They only do it in Holland or in the Dominican Republic, and it's very costly to get a band produced in this form. But you can put a cigar out there that looks premium, looks high quality. The smoke is premium. The cigar burns like any premium cigar. It is a premium cigar, but it doesn't mean it has to cost $15 to smoke it. So to me, I see a lot of people, they come up with a cigar and they automatically, they want, even the packaging may not be that great, and they're already retailing it at $10, $12, where most of the folks, the common people, the regular Joes, can't afford that all the time. I want to give that experience to everybody in the United States and in the world. I want everybody to be able to afford my cigar and feel like they're smoking quality, and they are smoking quality cigars, a quality cigar with Pdr Rio, but it's not denting their wallets at the same time. I'm not looking to become rich. I'm looking to have a good living. Me and my factory. I'm not trying to. I can increase the price of my cigar where I can make a lot of profit, but I don't. We do not choose that. Our first two lines, Escudo and Sangron, we didn't the way purposely we put this price point so everybody is able to afford it and everybody can enjoy the experience of smoking a Pinar del Rio.
Well, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and thanks for speaking to the fans of StogieReview.com.
Thank you. Hope to see you again.